Hello, beautifully blended family. I am very excited to be back with you today for another installment of Blended Conversations. And today it is my privilege and honor to be here with Miss Denisha Tate McAlister. And we are going to talk about all things blended and her blended journey. Before we jump in, though, just a few ground rules as to why we do this. So, we are really committed here at Beautifully Blended to providing a safe space to allow families to express their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. I truly feel that one of the keys to a healthy blended family structure begins with open and honest communication. So if we take the time to listen, like truly listen with our hearts, we can bridge the gap between acceptance, understanding, and empathy. And there is nobody better to be having this conversation with. She is laughing, but she knows it's true. Than Miss Denisha Tate McAlister. And so I want to just first start by having you just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself before we jump into the questions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So first, thank you for having me.
Of course.
This is very exciting. And I laugh because learning lessons has been my everyday. It's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. And so I'm looking forward to this conversation too. I really am. So I have been married going on 5 years.
Yeah, come on,
Yes.
marriage.
All right.
Hello.
August will be our fifth wedding anniversary. And I was excited about blended family.
Mm-hmm.
I had been looking throughout my entire life of, oh, I can't wait to have a big family. And then I turned 25. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to have a big family. And then I turned 30. And I was like, oh, can't wait to have a big family. And notice the big family, I didn't have any children.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I find myself at 40 saying, am I gonna have a big family? And at 45, how would I have a big family? Like the conversation kept changing.
Yeah.
And at the time, my brother and sister-in-law, they were having children. So I had, the nieces and the nephew. And I worked in an industry that allowed me to work with children.
Yeah.
But my family became a distant dream.
Mm.
And then at 47, I got married.
The Lord sent you a good husband,
He
honey.
did. And oddly enough, one of the things that he said that made him know I was the right one is when we had that discussion about children.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, I'm just going to be honest with you. I have children, multiple children, several children, and we're a package deal.
Yeah.
Like you hear of women saying that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, I'm a father to all of my children. And any woman that is with me has to be okay with that. And so I chuckle because when I tell that story, people are like, oh, okay, well, I mean, sure, at 47, of course, you wasn't expecting to meet somebody that didn't have any kids. People have kids, and I'm like, and they're like, so how many children do you have? And I say 9, and they stop breathing. 9? Yeah, 9. I always wanted a big family.
Yes, you did.
And now I have a big family.
Can you just tell our listeners a little bit about what it takes to mentally prepare for that, right? Because, as you shared, you don't have any biological children. So not only were you walking into a situation where you were walking into this new chapter of your life as a wife, which comes with its own set of things.
Yes, for sure.
You are walking into this situation with, mindful and knowing that this comes with being, I'm going to be a ready-made parent, for lack of a better way of saying it. Now, what kind of conversation did you have like with yourself as you were saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
Right. Well, to be honest, the first conversation was, are we ready for this?
We,
Me and me. Are we ready for this? And the reason the conversation was necessary is because that's commitment.
Yes.
And that's commitment when it goes the way you think it's going to go. And it's really commitment when it goes way to the left. Are we ready for this? And my answer was yes. That didn't mean it was going to be easy. It just meant I was going to stay the course.
Fair. Now let's give some context. So 9, nice round number.
Yes, 9.
And the ages at the time you got married, and you could just say if they were all adults or under.
One minor.
One minor.
One minor. And the other 8 adults, legally grown, and even married with children.
Okay.
Which is a very interesting dynamic, because just because a young person isn't in that same level of permission space and financial responsibility and all of that, that doesn't mean navigating that relationship is going to somehow be easier.
Talk about it.
Because they've had an entire childhood and beginning adult life where you weren't a thing.
Yeah.
So now finding your space in their life is a lot different than when they are a minor, because maybe you get the opportunity to drive them somewhere because they can't drive themselves, or you get the opportunity to help financially in a situation because they're young. Yeah. But if I'm an adult with a spouse and children, you're my parents' new spouse.
Yeah.
Does not automatically mean you're anything to me. And that's hard.
That's hard, but that's real.
It's so real.
Let's pin note that. We're gonna dig into that, but let's pin note. This is so good already. And as you can see, it's just Denisha and I today. And so what's really important, like, yes, we want to have these conversations with, the husbands and all the parties involved, but it's something about 2 women sitting together and discussing their journey and the things that they've learned along the way, some challenges they may have faced, and being able to share that commonality and experience and support one another, because this is not an easy space. And I'm not suggesting, because we sit here today as step parents, that it's all about the step parent. Don't get me wrong. This is a team effort. And so, down the road, we'll be having these conversations with bio moms and bio dads and navigating this whole space. But right now, you're in my sweet spot as a fellow step parent with no biological children. And so I have just a very special, and we've talked about this. We share this very special space. And so let's backtrack just for a little bit. So we have our listeners. We've talked about, your husband saying, hey, package deal. This is what it takes to be with me. And you're like, am I ready for this? Which is fair. What was your experience of blended families before you met your husband? Did you have any? Like growing up?
Absolutely. And it was unique in so many different perspectives. First of all, I'm the oldest of 4 with my mom.
Gotcha.
That was so useful in my life because my mom has 4 children and the 4 of us have different fathers.
Okay.
I saw my mother fall in love and know that this was going to be it. More than once, more than twice, because I was the oldest.
Yeah.
So that gave me a different perspective of, it's not just blended families, but it's a blended family that was a blended family already. Yes. So there is a dynamic and a history of how that unit blended that didn't include me. And it doesn't necessarily, you don't know if it was a good experience or a bad experience.
It was in your space, but you weren't directly impacted and or influenced by it, but you got a front row seat.
Front row seat to see it all. And I think what was unique about that is because we all had the same mom, which tends to anchor the sibling relationship.
Yes.
So it kind of didn't matter who else came along because we were
You like
siblings. We
we
had a
in
mom, but
this.
yeah,
Yeah, we in
it's
this.
us and our mom.
Yes.
And so that was interesting. But we all also have siblings by our dads, all four of
I
us.
see.
And so when I talk about the sibling group and family, yeah, we had that dynamic. Like this is my sister. Well, this is my sister too, but it's really my brother's sister.
Yes. Oh, you need
And
a diagram. I feel
we
like
do, we do.
you
Because I mean, think about holidays and grandparents.
yeah.
You know, my mom is respectfully ensuring that we all see our grandparents, but it's four sets of them. And so it's grandpa and some grandparents love us all, and some
Mm,
grandparents are like,
made a
you're not really
difference.
related to me,
Yeah.
and so the anchoring of our mom was so very important to how we navigated all of that. And I always just carry that with me to know that it may be different, it may be rocky, it may be, but you can be okay through it all.
Yeah, and it sounds like that just kind of shaped you or at least prepared you
Absolutely.
for
To not
what
have a bad concept of blended families,
yes.
to not think, unfortunately, some people go into a blended situation kind of begrudgingly,
Mm,
oh, well, I'm not dealing with this, I'm not dealing with that. Like that didn't exist. It was like, okay, let's figure out how we're going to do it.
yeah. Yeah, and that's to say that I think to your point, when you do have siblings that have a different father, you, or at least I feel like it's a culture thing. As long as you have the same mama, that's your sister and brother. Like you
Absolutely.
don't do the whole half
No, not at
at
all.
all.
There's no half
And
anything.
no, and even if you from what is it, the standards of society standards,
Correct.
it would be looked at differently. So I feel like just kudos to you for recognizing that there's a difference, but also not letting it
Yeah.
impact or influence
No difference
anything. Yeah,
whatsoever.
no difference at all. But that doesn't say that it probably wasn't challenging. I think you just alluded to a little bit of that with the grandparents, right? Some
Absolutely.
grandparents making a difference in the
Yes.
kids versus,
Yes. And
other
then
ones loving
and then
everyone.
the other situation of grandparents that's not engaged at all, which had everything to do with their son and their relationship, nothing
Mm,
to do with the child. So to have a sibling who doesn't know that side of their father's family when you may have, total access to it's a lot. And you learn to navigate those emotions together in a supportive nature, which also allows me to understand how kids can show up in space when new people arrive.
yeah. So I just want to say this. So tell people what it is that you do. Because if you hear Denisha talk, she is a true teacher at heart. She is a true, um, just an influencer. She can come in, she can see situations, and she tell them what you do for a
Yes.
living. Because that's going
So
to be relevant
okay.
later on. Go
Okay,
ahead.
yes. So I'm actually a consultant. I'm a business strategist for nonprofits and churches.
Mm-hmm.
And it is because I am a born problem solver. But it comes from a space of I love people. I am super empathetic and I feel the pain of others. And so there is a personal gain in helping people solve their problems so that we can stop hurting.
Yeah.
And so I do. I sit in that space often.
I know. And I'm bringing it up because blended families and this journey, as good as you are with that area, let's talk about some of the challenges that you were able to identify, even with
Yes.
that mindset of I'm a problem solver. I
Yes.
do this. I do
Yes.
this for a living. I do it.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, there's so much. Okay. So, first of all, I'll start with self. I have a confession.
Mm-hmm.
I had an idea of what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
Like I had this plan and it was going to be so cool and I was going to get to do all these things and I was so ready and yes, I can't wait. And then you're married and then the first opportunity of engagement occurs and you realize, especially as a person who's not bringing my own biological children to the situation, what is happening is I am one man standing. joining an entire situation that was existing how it was existing before anybody knew my name.
Yeah.
That's humbling. Because, like, I had a plan to how it was going to go. Like, I knew, and I'm talking about good things. Like, oh my gosh, the holidays, and we're going to do this, and all of that. And they had
sweaters, all the things.
They had holidays before they met me.
Yeah.
They had ways of being before they met me. And so, finding your space in all of those lives, and all of those may mean however many children, however many biological parents, however many situations. Like, it is on you to figure out your unique space in each of those relationships. And some of those spaces may be you're my parents' spouse.
Yeah. And being okay with that. I think it's really important to talk about, especially, and I would imagine, especially, when I joined Journey's life, she was a minor. And so I had that dynamic of having to be more active and present.
Yes, absolutely.
So I can only imagine trying to find a way to integrate yourself in the lives of, as you said, grown people with their own lives and own families. And so it's so important to talk about how organic some of these engagements need to be. Meaning, I love what you said. I had an idea. I had this plan. I was going to execute. This is how it's going to go. And you're like, wait, they, on Easter Sunday, they do
something else
already.
Yeah.
Thing.
That's not in my
and
plan.
Nobody said, hey, do you want to come? You might not even be
in their
part
plan.
of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And being able to say, I am going to try to figure my way and find my way in all of this, but I have to be okay if that's not readily present.
Absolutely.
Right
Absolutely.
away.
The dynamic with us was interesting because it wasn't just navigating a single minor child, 8 adult children, spouses, but we had 21 grandchildren at the time. So, I'm gonna be Nana. I'm gonna be Grandma. I'm gonna be. I'm not. I'm not because those seats already exist. And for a grandchild, they don't understand in the same way that my papa got married and now this one. And so you have to patiently walk that path because they'll recognize you in their life, even if it doesn't have a title and identity. And as an adult, you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with when they talk about their grandma, their grandma, all of that, that none of that is you. And so if that was part of your plan, maybe someday that'll be so, but also maybe not.
Yeah. Let's call out that thing, though. I love for you to say that. It takes some of us a little while to get there. In all honesty and respect, it can hurt. Even when there's no malicious intent.
None whatsoever.
When there's, when it ain't even about you.
It's not about you at all.
Not about you at all.
Not at all.
But it could still hurt.
Yeah.
And so, have there been ways that you've been able to learn and adapt when maybe it's not seemingly personal or not personal at all, but just kind of hits you? What are some things that you've done and learned?
That's a very recent conversation.
Okay.
So be okay with the fact that something wasn't okay. Because sometimes we want to keep the peace or don't want to appear needy or don't want to appear petty or don't. So then we absolutely ignore our feelings, although we're feeling some kind of way. But we don't want to be drama queens in extreme either.
Yeah.
But you have to find that space to give awareness of what's happening because the whole unit has to learn that you're there. And what does that mean and how to interact with you? So Mother's Day rolls around,
Yeah.
9 children at this point, a lot more grandchildren, and not a single text, call, or anything happens. I'm devastated.
Yeah.
Not because I expected gifts, not because I had to have the conversation with my husband. What about that am I feeling?
Yeah. Calling it out.
Calling it out. And the conversation was, you know how I always wanted a big family. And you know over the past years, all the things I've done to make sure that I help bring us and keep us together as a family and interact and all of that. And I'm disappointed that on Mother's Day, no one saw me in that space for their life.
And it sounds to me almost like it wasn't even a them thing.
No.
It was
It
were
was a
sitting
me.
in your
reality.
Yeah.
The reality that it's Mother's Day and I haven't birthed any children.
Yeah. Oh.
But I thought enough relationship had been built to at least acknowledge my existence in their village. And there's no other day you really set aside where I fit in.
No, there is no stepmother's day.
There isn't.
And I want to, and I'm not going to do it because I feel like we both be leaning in, but I want to be like, and I want to do that just because been there in spaces, not necessarily for Mother's Day, because my husband does a really good job. And I have to be okay with understanding that he has the lens to see the value that I add.
Absolutely.
The kids, not always.
Exactly.
You want and you hope. But if I get it from him, if I get him to say, babe, I appreciate you being on this journey with me. Absolutely. And thank you so much. And here is this, whatever dinner it was that I asked for or whatever, you know, tangible thing that he has for me. I take that with knowing that my true job, while it is caring for Journey and loving her, is also to be that woman that he needs. And so I lean into that more, and I think it kind of takes some of the weight off. But what I will say is that on Mother's Day, because you're right, we're here. And we haven't birthed children, and we just hoping. Just anybody say. And it got to be about 6:30, and I hadn't, didn't see a text, didn't get a text, and I'm like, well, okay, this is where we are. You start having those conversations with yourself,
absolutely,
and you're like, well, and it's okay, and you tell yourself that enough that you will actually be okay
eventually. I'm getting
that's your pep talk. But I will say about 7:00 rolled around and I got the text and I was like, immediately, all the flutters, all the things, because as you called out, you want to be seen. You want to be seen not as the mom, but as a participant, as an active participant in your life, rooting for you and cheering for you and wanting you to be great.
And what you said, was so key. What the children don't see, even if they're the benefit of, is that you are there supporting their bio parent. You are there making sure dates don't get missed, the money lands right so it can do it, the advice, because as a couple, you're talking through like, what should I was thinking about telling them this. What do you think? You're like, oh, say it differently. So they don't see the background work that allows your spouse to show up
and
as a good parent. They don't realize that you are a part of that team making that happen. And as long as your spouse acknowledges it, you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can definitely talk about, the challenges, and it's not without them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is a life that we accepted and readily
Yes,
accepted, as a matter of fact.
absolutely.
So knowing that it wouldn't be easy, but it's not all missed phone calls or missed opportunities. So talk about some of the blessings that you've been able to
Absolutely.
gather from this. You talked about having the grandbabies, and I'm
Yes.
certain that the grandbabies are probably just a blessing in and of themselves.
Absolutely. So I can remember our first Thanksgiving. So we got married in August.
Okay.
So now, kind of got the lay of the land. It's November.
Yeah.
We're doing this. And I said, hey, let's invite all the kids over.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
We're in a 2-bedroom townhouse. Let's invite all the kids over for Thanksgiving dinner. And when I tell you, it was the most amazing, fun, fulfilling, because I felt like we got to know each other in a way that I don't know it would have happened. So in head count with child, spouse, children, everybody wasn't able to make it, which space-wise was a blessing. But it still ended up being 25 of us for Thanksgiving dinner.
That's all right.
Yeah. And so when I tell you going out to the store and buying a fold-out table and some fold-up chairs and some TV trays and lap trays, and they were so gracious. No one snubbed or turned their nose up at the reality that we didn't really have space for this master plan that I had. Because in my head it was going to go differently. But they too talked about how much fun they had, watching the kids play with their cousins, watching the siblings rag on each other and tell Dad, did you know that back when this happened, and watching him laugh at them. And it was just, and that moment was like, thank you. That's what I wanted my whole life. And now I have it.
That's like hitting me right here. No, because, and to also, may I add, perhaps see your husband in his element around his children, being able to love on them and getting that love. Like,
yes,
you have a window into
to watch that dynamic of I love him and I know he's a good dad, but to watch his children adore him and just love him as we love our superhero dads. Not perfect dads, but it was so beautiful to witness. It was just like mind blowing.
Yeah. I feel like you don't always, and 25 was plenty. Now you would have welcomed them all. I feel like y'all have been outside at this point.
We'd have had to. We'd have to be at the neighbor's house or something. I don't know.
But being and wanting to have that, having a wife that didn't and doesn't shy away from those experiences and saying, let's try to get everybody. Let's try to include everyone, because it's important and it matters to me. And so I hear that you're building new memories that you can continue to take on.
Because we've gathered together as a group with even more being present. And so we have those, we took that outdoors to a resort because the accommodations could happen.
Yes.
But and then I have beautiful individual memories. With the youngest being a minor, I do have the opportunity to expose her to things that any parent would want to expose their child to. And her mother is so beautiful in allowing me in that space. So we have our something special. I was in Dominican Republic for a wedding. And at her school, timing is everything, she had to pick a place to study. And she happened to had studied Dominican Republic. So while I was there, she was sending me landmarks to see, foods to taste, experiences to have, and I would have them and send them back to her.
I love that.
So we have this memory
Yeah.
of us and the DR that was so special and ours.
Yeah. Finding your thing. Like, and it has to be, and I think I mentioned this earlier, it has to be sort of this organic, very, kids recognize disingenuous.
Oh my.
They are the best detectives
Oh
of
my.
it.
Yes.
You would not believe.
And will call you out on it.
Will too
Not
call you
only
out
do they
on
see it, but they tell you they see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so taking the time to not be too eager, not need to rush in, because this is a marathon, not a sprint. We have time. I plan on being with your father. So
yes, I'm not going anywhere. Not going anywhere.
So we have time. And so I just love being able to identify those things that really work for you and kind of move it into that space. And so if you had to tell our blended family audience and kind of give them, you know, one thing that you would want them to know if they're just heading into this blended journey. You got 5 years under your belt now.
Yes.
Regular old pro.
Yes. I got it. No, I don't.
But what would be one thing or two you would want to like share with them?
Be present. You can't help having an idea of what you think it's going to be and how you think it's going to go. But that's just it. That's your idea. That is not necessarily reality. Not to say that you won't have influence, you won't have opportunity, but don't set yourself up for the disappointment of expecting this. Instead, be present with an open mind and experience it as it's happening, and then decide where you fit, where you sit, and what you think in real time.
It sounds like you're saying it'll reveal itself to you. Was your experience?
It absolutely, because then it cuts out disappointment, and more importantly, it cuts out judgment of what should be. Who told you that? Like, who told you it should be? Because then we get in our feelings. It's not the way it should be. And that was only your playbook, not the playbook. You have to show up very neutral in this space, experience it, see what's happening, and then decide.
Yeah. How you're going to participate. And it's something you said earlier that was key. Like, this had been happening long before you came along. Yes. And so we oftentimes go into situations with the very best of intentions.
Absolutely.
Right? Very best of intentions. But we don't recognize that history really trumps.
Oh my goodness.
Intention.
You can be an expert in anything, but you can't be an expert in them.
No.
So your expertise really doesn't matter. You are there to learn and to respectfully be invited into a situation that already was in play.
Yeah.
That's humbling.
I like to say that when you think about a blended family, think about a team. Think about, NBA finals going on right now. So there is a member of that team on the floor. There's 5 men on the floor, and it takes everybody. If it just took one person or another, it'd be a different story. So it takes us all. And so my role as a stepmom, and your role as bio mom, and your role as bio dad, and your role as stepdad or whatever, are all necessary, because what we want is the growth and the growth and the development of the child.
Which means it's not about me. Not about me.
Not about me.
No.
Not that's easier said than done. But we definitely try to navigate it as best we can. So those are some good nuggets. Be present for sure. What would you think, because again, you went into this one big family and you got it.
Yes.
The Lord does answer prayers.
Yes, He does. Be careful what you pray for.
Be careful. Be careful. And be prayerful, because at the same time, here you are. When you think about how you want your legacy to be and your family legacy to be now that you include all of these wonderful people
Yes.
as part of it. Like what does that look like for you?
So, one of the things I realized that I've brought to the mix is access. So, I do look at my professional life, I look at just my experiences, and I want to make sure that all of my family has access through every doorway I've walked through.
Oh, I like that.
And that's important because that's how legacy is built.
Yeah.
And so, knowing that my legacy is theirs
Yeah.
is important because that happens naturally when you have a child.
Yeah.
But when you are a step parent, you don't always connect them to your legacy, especially if the relationship isn't really close and they're not readily involved.
Right.
And when you do they know you do? Because that's a different conversation.
It is a different conversation. That's
Having the a
good.
benefit of adult children, they know they can call me for business related questions.
Yeah.
I'm a whole business strategist. Why would I not
Yeah.
be there for them as they're navigating entrepreneurship, nonprofit management, leadership? And so letting them know, call me.
Yeah.
And they do. And I love it.
Yes, I can appreciate that. It sounds like it's just finding your niche.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to find your niche within the family dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
but also amplify it.
Yes.
Like I do this thing and I do it well.
Exactly. Exactly.
Use me. Let me help you. And it's not always easy gaining that trust from adult children. So I'd love you to just talk a little bit about that
Mm-hmm.
because that can certainly help someone who's maybe they're in the stage
Yes.
that you're in right
Yes.
now.
It starts with you caring about who they are
Mm-hmm.
and how you can be of value to them.
Yeah.
And only they can tell you that. So it is a conversation that's saying, hey, can I tell you about myself? Because my commitment to your father is we're here for you. And I'm here for you in a way different than he is because I'm me.
Yeah.
And you don't know me. And so let me tell you who I am.
Oh, I like that.
And it's that conversation that then gives them the idea that they can call you for XYZ
Mm-hmm.
because they may not have had anyone else in their network sitting in that seat.
Yeah.
Likewise, know what they do that you can be helpful to. So, for example, we have a daughter that's a realtor.
Okay.
So anything I'm doing real estate goes her way.
Yeah.
Like there's no question. Nobody else matters. Because I have a daughter that's a realtor.
Right. She has the information.
Period.
She can do what I need.
That's it. And so knowing what they do or what they're interested in doing.
Yeah.
So again, it's not about you, but when you can be helpful, be prepared to be so. Yeah. And it happens organically as well.
And it sounds like, for the adult children, they're not in need in the same way. Their needs are going to vary and may not need you at all. And you have to be okay with that as well. So it's almost like being ready to tag into the space, like double dutch. Like I'm here. I'm here. Let me know. Let me know when you need me. And that's important to note because that phone call might not come, but that's okay.
And don't equate being needed to being loved. You may not be needed, but they still adore you. They just don't need you.
Right. Yeah.
And that happens with bio parents as well. When your child gets to a point where they're independent and they don't need you the way they have historically needed you, there's a void that gets created. You act like you don't love me. Well, where did you get that from? So as that step parent, Where did you get that from?
Be careful of the stories you're telling yourself. And
Absolutely.
that could be a mic drop in and of itself.
Yes.
Because this space will have you questioning sometimes. This space will have you inferring and reading into. And so kind of being still. And so I know that we are both women of faith, and faith plays a huge role in just being able to navigate this
Yes.
journey. Talk a little bit about like how your faith has transitioned you and kind of, just level set you in this space too.
Well, one, it's given me another opportunity of touch point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Knowing where the children sit in their faith gives another relationship opportunity, whether it's explaining scripture to the youngest or hearing her spiritual revelation and celebrating with her as God is speaking.
Yeah.
Or to watch our son first work in ministry to then become a deacon, to watch that growth and know like, wow. And it's okay to be proud of that. Regardless of when you entered their life. That's an interesting dynamic. Sometimes we're super careful because we know we're not the parent.
Yeah.
And if you start to love them, connect with them, assume responsibility, whatever that looks like, you're going to be proud of what they do. Yes. And be okay with that and don't apologize or don't want to, I'm proud. I mean, I know that's not my, stop.
Yeah.
I'm proud. Whole sentence, period.
And at the end. You don't have to rationalize it or justify it in any way.
Because children can have multiple people be proud of them.
Rooting
and
for
you're
them.
allowed to be one of them. Give yourself permission.
I like that. Certainly give yourself permission. And I think we have to be able to be okay with it might be different, but there is no difference.
Correct. Yes.
It might be different. I might have to show up in this space differently. I might have a different point of connection, but there's no difference in my heart. My love is not different.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're coming into the tail end of this, or giving, just final thoughts. Very good conversation. We can talk about this
all day long.
Yeah. Whenever you want to.
Yes.
What are some final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience, people who, wherever they might be in their journey, maybe they're new, maybe they're mid, maybe they're seasoned.
Yes.
But just some final thoughts and observations.
Yes. One of the things that's so important, which is why I love you so, you have to have your support system in place for you. Because there are going to be times that you face things that you have to step out of the unit and level set. Because anyone in that unit, including your spouse, may not be able to answer the question without you evoking some sort of emotion or sounding an alarm. So there has to be someone who understands this type of situation and you, so that they can be honest with you and say, you are in your feelings. This is you. Or, I've been there before. This is how I handled it. And allow you to be honest. Because sometimes, especially when you're feeling some kind of way, it feels selfish. And it may be selfish. It may be. In this moment, this is about me.
Yes.
It's about me, and I'm a whole kind of mess right now.
Yeah.
But help me.
Yeah.
And so having that space in someone is so necessary to surviving this, because it really is a survival, because you're the new one at the party. And so you get knocked around because you weren't there and you don't have your space yet.
Yeah.
And you don't know where you fit in, and you don't want to appear any kind of way. And I remember a situation, it was a holiday and we went to visit, and so there was the children, and they were at their mom's house, so we went, and then my husband's dad and his stepmom came, and so now you got a whole bunch of people, and they're having a whole great conversation about remember when. That's hard.
That's a tough one.
Because the remember when, the reality is you didn't exist.
Mm-mm.
You can't participate in the conversation, and you may get to a point at some point, enough already.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear that.
The human part.
The human part of you says, "Hey, hello."
Yeah, he got a whole new set of
remember wins. And so being able to be honest about that, and being able to unpack it, and so that conversation probably doesn't start with your spouse because you are livid.
Yeah,
there has to be a conversation with someone else that you can unpack that with, and
judgment
say,
free
for you, just say, no, I'm not concerned about anybody going back down memory lane. No, I'm not concerned about anybody wanting anybody. I felt left out.
Yeah, isolated. I'm already,
and I don't like that. I'm already new to the party.
Yeah,
and I felt really left out. Then you're prepared to have the conversation with your spouse.
Yes. So what I hear you saying is get you a village, and you better drop these nuggets up in here today. Get you a village, get you a safe space, because society will have us chasing our own tail sometimes. Absolutely. As we navigate this blended family space as stepmom. In the history of stepmoms, if you track any trajectory, there ain't been a good
Wicked.
Yes.
Every fairy
tale. They are evil and terrible. And you will, that subconsciously, I believe, just interjects itself in little things. And so you're constantly checking yourself and rationalizing, but feeling all the feels. Right. Because you're in the space.
Absolutely.
And so getting yourself a village of people, some supporters that can hear what you're saying, talk to you about your crazy. Yes. But also talk to you about that's real and that's valid and it's okay. Feel it. Yes. And this is how you get out of it.
This is how you get out of it.
I am so thankful for you being here today. Amazing conversation. Just thank you. And I love you.
My pleasure. I love you.
All right. Bye, folks.